For more information about this marathon, check out speedgaming.org/nokidhungry to see our list of prizes and donation incentives, and to get the donation link. All contributions go directly to the charity No Kid Hungry. And coming up, we have Super Metroid Redesign being run by azder. So without further ado, let's kick it over to the runners. Good luck.
Alright, so I'm azder. I run a lot of Super Metroid hacks and randomizers, tournaments and stuff. This is my absolute favorite hack. And I've got Tracy M on commentary with me, who organizes a lot of the SM stuff.
Hello.
And yeah, I guess we'll kick it off. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this hack was it was released in 2006, and it was basically the big hack back in the day. It was a lot more advanced than everything else that came out around that time. So it was released by Drusif. Had some major programming done by Kajardan, who is like basically the hacking genius of the era. Also a little bit by Athos, who is the creator of Smile, the Super Metroid editor. So we've got a normal looking series, but main thing that you'll notice is that the physics are a lot heavier. That was done to make a different experience for like Super Metroid veterans. So a lot of the classic tricks like bomb jumps and wall jumping and stuff are ways for Super Metroid vets to really easily sequence break a lot of things, and a lot of the aim of this hack was to prevent them from being able to do that with the skill set that they already had.
Also notice timer, a lot less time to get out of here.
Yeah, that doesn't really affect runners too much.
Not really, no.
But yeah, the planet looks a lot different. It's 2.5 times larger than the original game, and the run is very long because we have to go and find the 12 Chozo Guardians. The Chozo statues are repurposed so that when you ball up in their hands, they unlock a part of the way to Turian, instead of it being gated behind the 4 major bosses. So it's a lot more like the artifacts in Prime. There's a lot of inspirations and stuff from Prime and Echoes, and this also has the Shine Spark mechanics from the other 2D Metroids, the GBA games. You spark at a slope and you recharge off it, and we call it chain sparking. So we're just heading to Morph Ball and Missiles, as is the classic. The Pirate Room is going to be... so there's like the same old Awakening state. The Pirate Room on the way back is going to be a little bit more involved, just because the pirates take a lot of regular shots. They take over like 10 or 12 regular shots. So we want to manage our missiles effectively to be able to kill them with those instead.
If I can just interrupt for a second. We do have a $25 donation from Anonymous saying, put this towards saving the animals incentive. So that completes that incentive, and that's what we'll be doing.
Okay. That's an interesting trip. They're a bit more out of the way than...
They're a lot more out of the way in this one.
Yeah.
Okay, we got our missiles.
The enemies do a lot more damage in this hack, too. Oh, that's not a good start. I missed the door. Okay, that's fine. So we want to try to stay at full health here and guarantee missile drops from these enemies.
Yeah, we're gonna be running around just with no E-tanks for a while.
Yeah, a little while. We also need to try to stay at full missiles to open the missile doors that are coming up. We're going to be on 5 missiles for a while, too. The early game is kind of stingy. Like, this hack is meant to be significantly more difficult, but not, like, Kaizo style. So, like, if you're a veteran of the game and... at least these days, it'd be the equivalent of, like, if you've done a lot of randomizers and you know how the movement works in the game and stuff, you don't need to know really fancy tricks to be able to beat this, but it is going to be harder and it's going to test your platforming and dealing with enemies quite a bit more. So there's the pirate right here that I want to actually morph over. Okay, good. That pirate does 33 damage, which is more than they usually do, and that's a lot of health to lose here. Unmorphing in midair, like in regular Super Metroid, slows your descent, or it resets your fall speed, basically. And we can't afford the missiles to kill that pirate because we need to open the door, so there's lots of stuff like that in the early game you have to pay attention to. Actually, the ammo routing throughout this entire hack is a nightmare. Because later on in the game, we'll be coming across purple doors, which take a total of 25 missiles, or 5 supers, or whatever mix of equivalent.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those throughout the game, so we're gonna need ammo for that stuff.
They basically replace the Ghidoras in terms of, like, blocking important stuff like bosses, but they're in a few extra places than just bosses. So we're gonna make our way to Spore Spawn. And we're gonna try to 2-round Spore Spawn with just 5 missiles, which is pretty tough. It's normally not a thing that Vanilla has to worry about, because Vanilla can skip Spore Spawn very easily, but we have to do it to get wall jump boots, because our initial wall jump ability is taken away, so we have to go and retrieve it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, in the second round, I'm going to shoot a missile so that I can get more drops on the screen. Second round onward, Spore Spawn has a trick you can do where if you're shooting missiles into it as it's opening, the missile hits do not cause it to close. And you can get like 5 or 6 total in a round in that way. It does not work on the first round, I don't know why. So second round is when we prep for all of that. I'm gonna burn that missile so I can give myself the best chance at getting it. Oh, I shot too late. So that third missile actually hit when its mouth is fully open, and then those hits started counting for it closing. I got a bit greedy. But we got him down anyways.
So now we have wall jump boots. Now the interesting thing about this hack is there's, I would say, like 3 different types of walls. There's these walls where you can see visually these are actually intended specifically to wall jump off of. And then there's some walls that you can wall jump off of, but you don't really necessarily need to. And then there's some walls that you still just can't.
Yeah, so in a lot of cases, you have these visual representations of these wall jump walls. But it's actually controlled by a hidden tile property. So it has nothing to do, like internally in the game, it has nothing to do with the graphic of the wall tile being used. Yeah. So essentially it's arbitrary which walls you can jump off and which can't, and the game does telegraph some of them clearly.
Yep.
But some of the walls that you can versus can't are kind of surprising. There's, like, basically, you're supposed to infer that rough surfaces are things that Samus's wall jump can get a grip on, and the game goes out of the way at times to show you that there are smooth surfaces where you can't wall jump, but there are some where it's kind of arbitrary or ambiguous whether you can or can't. There's some surprising ones. Also, the wall jump is pushing me really far away from the wall, like fusion wall jumps. And so unlike fusion, we can actually single wall climb. Like that, there's a lot of strats where you want to do that. And you can chain them, but it's pretty painful on the hands to do so. There are some cases where we're doing like an unintended wall jump off a platform to sequence break something, where we want to do like a single wall jump in the same direction as the wall to get on a ledge. Like that. Yeah, stuff like that. It kind of... it's an optimization in some places, but it's a sequence break in others.
Okay, we're headed towards bombs, which are way on the other side of the world.
Yeah, this captured the Prime 1 philosophy of backtracking, which...
Sure did.
That game is able to break around a little bit more. This is the final boss jump that I just did. It's tile perfect, which isn't like too bad, but we have to do it in the escape sequence when there's steam and stuff going on, and outdoor criteria floods later in the game, and I guess spoilers, we're not going to have gravity suit in the escape for a weird reason, so missing that jump at the end of the game literally costs a minute, and the screen's shaking and there's steam, so it's pretty scary. So coming up on the way to BT, there's a beta enemy, or unused enemy called a reflect. It exists in the vanilla game, but it's not used anywhere. So if you open the editor, you could place one. Basically, it reflects your projectiles. So there's like a little puzzle where you have to shoot it with a missile, and it reflects into a shutter to create a bridge here. Probably the reason these enemies were unused is they're pretty buggy. So sometimes it doesn't reflect properly, and also they don't know how to reflect bombs. So if you lay a bomb next to it, it'll crash the game. That's usually patched out when people use them in hacks. There's like community patches to deal with that. I think it's patched out in this, but if you take the vanilla game and you place a reflect somewhere in the editor and you bomb it, the game will crash. Speaking of bombing things, we've got bomb chorizo, which is actually a verb in this hack.
I'll make quick work here.
Okay, that was really good. So sometimes like the third bomb, I think, is the like least confident part of the setup for me.
Yeah, all the bosses in this hack have some interesting weaknesses that some of which we'll be able to exploit, some of which we can't.
Most of them do. GT kind of doesn't. Spore Spawn really doesn't, but yeah, GT is like the main one that doesn't actually really have a weakness.
Also, you'll notice the Prime style bomb jump counters up on the HUD. So it requires Prime style bomb jumps in a lot of places here, especially early on, and does make bomb jumping IBJ is a much harder trick than in vanilla.
Yeah, it's considered an advanced technique in this hack, infinite bomb jump.
But we're gonna use it a lot here.
Yeah, we're gonna do a short one coming up. I think I'm probably gonna make it look pretty easy, but the one here just saves like 6 seconds. It's a minor time save. There's like a set of bomb tunnels you're supposed to do Prime style double bomb jumps in that we're gonna skip by doing that. So this isn't this one isn't a big deal, but so the thing about vanilla infinite bomb jump, it's quite forgiving, and the rhythm's kind of easy to understand. Like, basically, you want to lay the next bomb right on top of where the previous one is, and you'll rise up pretty steadily just for single bomb jumps. But because of the physics in Redesign, that does not work. The way that you have to ascend is kind of laying them in sort of a staggered way that is a bit hard to intuit. And even once you get it, you have to be really good about the timing, because basically the window for the IBJ working is going to shrink the more out of sync that you get, and it gets harder to get back into the proper rhythm. The bomb counter is the main cause of this, because once you've laid 3 bombs out at a time, your bomb counter zeroes out for a while, and it takes a few extra seconds to refresh. So basically that means if you have to compensate for being off rhythm by being a bit earlier with your next bomb, you might run out the bomb counter and just fall. So if you do it wrong to a certain extent, it just stops working. And we have to do some pretty long ones in this route. You don't have to do any of them to beat the game at all. You do have to do them for hundo, but for the any percent route we're doing, it very heavily relies on using them for sequence breaking. And I actually did remember to take this save.
And you'll see we finally did get our first energy tank that was gated by those bombs.
So we're supposed to go left back to where Spore Spawn is to get super missiles behind a bomb block. A bomb block. So it does actually... Spore Spawn actually kind of does lock supers in this, but...
That's slow.
Yeah.
We'll get those later.
Yeah, so we're gonna go this way instead. This is actually a faster path to Red Brinstar that you're not supposed to be able to access until you get high jump. And we're gonna do a single wall jump off a high ledge to get to the other side after this. We are still gonna get supers because there is a pack here and the spikes, which is a little bit dangerous to get. Also, it's kind of inconsistent whether the spikes are weak or strong variety. So some of the ones deeper in the pit, they do 60 damage. Oh, that was close. See, these are really not easy. Okay. We want to take the hit from the side hopper there as well, because that pit of spikes does 60, and we want to avoid that damage. We'd rather take the enemy hit. So this is the top path. You're kind of supposed to have power bombs for that blockade, but accounting for this, there's actually a secret tunnel underneath. This hack has a lot of interconnectivity and a lot of accounting for some different paths that, like, you're not necessarily intended to take as the main path, but there's a lot of different ways to get around.
This E-Tank is kind of interesting because if you play this game casually, you need to have 3 E-Tanks at a certain point. And there's 2 E-Tanks that if you miss them, they'll be replaced, and we'll see one of those E-Tanks in a little bit. But that one you have to find.
Yeah,
the game intends you to do some hell runs, and you need 3 tanks to do them. So.
That one also, there's a trigger located like at the E-Tank that is one of the things that unlocks the Norfair elevator. Going to Crate also does it, though, so it's kind of weird that they chose to do it that way. We're not going to go to Crate in this one, actually. We're going to skip it entirely. Also, I did a particular lineup to get that ball boost from the spikes to weave through the platforms. If you're a little off-field, bonk a platform and you won't get nearly as far through the room.
And that's our first 10 pack. So the missiles here, we have 2s, 10s, 2s, 5s, and 10s. And the 10s are the ones that are most hidden.
Yeah, I'm actually
the
about
ones
to.
you want to prioritize.
I'm gonna explain early Berry actually. First, so I'm about to do an infinite bomb jump out of a spike pit to get various suit early. You're supposed to go to Norfair and do a 3-tank hell run to get Ice Beam, and then come all the way back and use it to climb the rippers here to get various suit. And they tried to prevent you from IVJing here by the spike pit, but you can actually. Did I kill that ripper? Let's see. I did. So you can actually get a diagonal bomb jump to brace you, or you can get the spike hit to like bounce you against the side of the pit entry to brace you so that your bombs stay in a vertical line when they generally shouldn't be able to do that in spikes. You need really good timing to get out though, because usually your iframes from the spikes run out and you get hit if you don't time this exactly right. And then you need to actually execute the rest of the IVJ once you're in the air, which is non-trivial. I'm off rhythm for the start.
The nice thing is we can keep refilling and keep trying. We do have to leave those drops on screen at some point, or else those bugs will respawn and get in the way.
I'm taking too long to morph after I get hit. Oh my goodness, this trick is really hard. If you haven't noticed. So I made it on that one, but my bombs were actually so desynced, I'm amazed I stayed in the air.
This is our first purple door here.
Okay, so if you do that all correctly, it saves about 2.5 minutes.
It saves the hell run, so.
Yeah, that's kind of funny though, because like, watching the hell run done is actually what attracted me to wanting to play this hack. I saw a video of it back in like 2008, but we didn't have any of this fancy stuff like flash carts and
practice ROMs and
whatchamacallits. And I didn't want to play on keyboard, so I didn't play it for a few years.
You see that E-tank he just picked up. Had he not picked up the one in Criteria, there would have been a second E-tank in that room. The game really wants you to have 3 here.
Yeah.
But we're not even going to go to that area that those E-tanks would have helped us out. We're going to go the other way.
Yeah, so this is the way you're supposed to go to get power bombs, which we are going to get, but we're going to get them in not the casual intended way. We have to go through... this is complicated to explain. Okay, so basically to get this route to work, I need either wave or charge to get past a right-facing gate. This is where wave is. You're supposed to have speed booster to get to this, but I
We have
need
bombs.
it. I need it now. So
And we're gonna have to do this twice because there's a bomb block up at the top. It fortunately does not respawn.
also, if you ever see that second bomb on the counter not visually relight, that means I did a bomb jump on the last frame that I could have before, or on the earliest frame that I could have before it would have run out the counter. So you're supposed to shine spark up that to get wave beam. But we're gonna get it now. So you're supposed to go to fight Crocomire to get power bombs. But we're actually going to get a different power bomb than fighting Crocomire.
You said there's actually 3 or 4 different places you can get your first power bomb, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but this is the intended incorrect place to get them.
The intended sequence break.
And it's also the fastest and the most difficult, probably. Well, okay, there's one you can get in Suitless Meridia that's arguably harder, but that was the first one that I was aware of, actually. I put a lot of research into finding that one, but it's so slow. But basically the reason we do this is, so there's a lava lake that blocks the way to Speed Booster, and there's a power bomb blockade you need to get past it. You're also supposed to have grapple for it, and grapple's on the east side of Norfair, and we're all the way on the west side. The premise of this route is we want to get Speed Booster early, so we can get a spike suit and get high jump early, so that we can break into lower Norfair early and have to do a lot less backtracking throughout the run, and we're going to end up having better movement items throughout the backtracking that we incur. So, and the way that getting the different powerbomb matters is that if you kill Crocomire, it actually changes the room state of the lava lake to where the tide is lowered. And if the tide is higher, we can actually do a lava IBJ to the other side of it. So we're gonna, in an attempt to avoid killing Croc and making the room state the way we want it, we are going to get this powerbomb instead. And this is an absolutely terrible IBJ maze. So I have to do a bunch of IBJs where you have to start in sections diagonally and use the opposite wall to brace against to make your bomb jump vertical again. And this is all over like lava death pit. And I messed up the timing on the brace. So I have to like move over properly in the middle of doing my bombs. That's the easiest one to start. I think the other ones are more awkward. So this is another run killer, super nerve-wracking, and there's like all these crumble blocks at the bottom that if you mess up, you're gonna fall through them and have to. You either, depending where you fall, you either die or you have to redo the maze. I like that one off center so that I could avoid breaking the bomb block I was sitting on. That one makes it easy, thankfully. Oh, I hate this one. That one is the last one that you have to start, and it's the opposite direction of all the other ones, so I find it super awkward. Okay, so I made it through all of it first try. That is really good.
That is really good.
This room is so scary. You lose a lot of time if you die here too, even though I took the save. And then there's like this kind of a specific path to follow back through the maze that has the safest exit. And for these diagonal... Oh, crap. See, I tried to talk about the thing I wanted to show off there. But, so for those diagonal bomb jumps, like, across the singular blocks there, I was actually trying to, like, hold backwards before landing on it, so I didn't bounce off, and then I did exactly the thing that I'm trying to avoid doing. That was really scary. Wow.
Yeah, throughout the game, there's a lot of those lava pits that, in some cases, you just can't get out of.
So that disc eagle almost killed me on the way out. I didn't have enough health to tank it, so I used a powerbomb to hitbox through it, which is like a pretty common SM trick, to give it iframe so that it couldn't hit me, and I kind of messed up the movement. It almost hit me anyways. That would have killed me. So those do 115 damage on Varia. So it's not over yet. We have to actually do the Lava Lake IPJ that I was talking about.
Yeah, it's interesting that in this game that bomb jumping in lava and in water is possible, which, you know, in the vanilla game you can't do.
That is interesting. Like, they didn't nerf everything. Like you're a lot of things in this game seem nerfed, but your jump height is higher. Your beam rates of fire vary depending on the beam. It's based on like the prime one rates of fire basically. And you also can't stack the beams. But yeah, they gave advantages to some parts of your arsenal.
Yeah, super firing rates are really slow, but missiles are really fast.
So I don't know why. I'm pretty thankful for this though. There are secret bomb passages through these power bomb blockades, so we don't have to like keep going back and forth with just one power bomb each time. The only place you absolutely need the power bomb is in here. So I'm gonna try to scroll the screen to get this Namahe off camera enough that its fireball doesn't spawn. Okay, I had to actually be very particular about the timing of those bomb jumps. It's pretty easy to get bomb jumps to ascend in lava here, like that, with the floaty physics, but the thing that you have to be aware of is the tide. So if the tide is too low when you get up to the top, you hit the tide earlier on your last diagonal, you hit air, and you lose the floatiness of the lava physics, and you just fall and you miss the ledge. So Aussie actually thought of doing the diagonal like one bomb earlier, and then doing the last one braced against the wall, and that solves that issue. But I was trying it and I found it too awkward for me personally. So now we have a speed booster we get to play with. This lava goes pretty fast once you hit a certain trigger. There's actually a way that we avoided the fast lava trigger before, but it turns out the room strat for hitting it is actually faster, because you get to spark from earlier in the room. So we get to get out of Death Trap Norfair for a tiny little bit to get high jump. And it's somewhat relaxing until you realize that we have to... Oh, uh-oh, don't kill me. There's a small disc there that can hop out of there. That would have killed me. But yeah, it's relaxing until you realize we immediately have to do a gate glitch after this, and then get a spike suit to get high jump early.
Yeah, the game intends you to have grapple beam for high jump boots. And for anybody that's played this hack before, probably the most difficult part and most infamous part involves getting that grapple beam. We're gonna skip all that.
Yeah.
Or involves, well, it doesn't so much getting the grapple beam, but getting out with the grapple beam.
Yeah, the grapple gauntlet is, I think, the most unfair part of the game for a casual player. There's a big old acid pit you have to do blind ripper grapple swings from. Basically making any mistake in that room is like a death in a 3-minute loss back to the save.
Yeah, the save station is really far away too.
So we get to skip it with this route. We trade it for arguably harder things. So I'm gonna get that reserve tank for safety in case I miss baby skip, because you have to go in terrain. You have to go through a couple of blue side hoppers with screw attack after the baby, and there's a chance to screw up and die there. Okay, so gate glitches. This run has a lot of them. You're probably familiar with them if you've watched SM randomizers. They're mostly common in that. This is basically when you're jumping at the gate, the last frame before you come into contact with it, you can fire a missile that'll spawn on the other side of it. So it's a precise trick on its own. It's harder in this because, one, because of the physics, and two, because, there we go, because there's actually, on most of the gates in Redesign, they put a little extra bump, like a one-tile bump guard on the side of the gate that you're on. And that makes it so that you hit your head. And that makes it kind of harder to time, and also, like, depending on your position, the missile can go through the gate. Or it can... Your missile can go too low and actually miss the button, even if it goes on the other side of the gate. Okay, so I'm trying to do a spike suit here. This is another kind of commonly known trick. This is a 2-frame unmorph into a 1-frame spark input. And the effect of it is that it gives me a stored Shrine Spark. It basically freezes the Shrine Spark timer. If you do it 1 frame too early, we call that the bad frame. There we go. So I got it for real. And this is what I'm going to use to skip the grapple requirement for getting high jump. So I have to be really careful once I have one, because side hoppers being so annoying. Because if I do the inputs for a Shrine Spark, that will set it off and lose it. So I need to be very careful with my movement here. There's actually kind of a lot of stuff that we do in this section too. Like, we have to get... We actually, since we're passing by here, we actually go and get the Spore Spawn Super Pack now. And we also get Charge Beam. So you have to do all of this without messing up and losing your Shine Spark.
You know, we can't quite do all the Brinstar cleanup in this part of the game, but there's a lot of things we pick up. There's an extra super pack somewhere, and
yeah, basically everything that I'm choosing to get right now is because we want it for Ridley. Otherwise, we get it later.
one of the gates in this area has a long, involved sequence. I believe you do some of it here, but not all of it.
Yeah, one little part of it. I need a power bomb, and there we go.
Yeah, you'll notice that we only get one power bomb at a time. The only one that's not one is the intended Crocomire power bomb pack, which comes with 3. Supers are 1s and 2s. The good news about power bombs here is that once you power bomb a blockade, it's gone for good. Same with several of the speed booster blockades.
Yeah, they all have flags assigned to them.
Also, gates remain at whatever state you left them in.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like this hack was really ahead of its time with that kind of stuff. The damage boost is scary because if you release a D-boost without landing on the ground first, then your spark goes off. But here's where we use it.
And that water line is what prevents us from bomb jumping up here. Tasks can do it. We can't.
Yeah, it's really bad for humans. We're gonna get an extra double super pack here, and also open one of the Decora gates. So the West Brinstar Guardian that we're going to be actually disarming much later, you have to free the Decora to get it, and it's behind 2 green gates, and one of them is a remote gate. So we want to take care of that on this side. There's also a side effect of there's a gray door that is in this room, basically. That doesn't open until you've defeated Kraid. We have access to both sides of this door. It's this door right here. We have access to both sides of it separately. But the fact that we haven't defeated Kraid actually means that we have to take a weird route through this area to compensate for that. So we get the Decora gate now because it would be very inconvenient to do it at any other time. And then, well, we get one part of the Decora gate. We get the remote side. And then all the rest we do later. I'm not good at that strat. I always spark way too early before the door opens. Okay, so now we're gonna be going along the path that the Hell Run would have taken. Because it leads to Ice Beam, we still have to grab Ice Beam for the end of the game, because the Metroids aren't vulnerable to power bombs in this, so it actually hard requires Ice Beam.
Get an E-Tank over here, I think.
Yeah.
Get that E-Tank now.
Yeah, this is this room is actually based on Transport Tunnel A and Magma Caverns in Prime 1. It's got the E-Tank at the top, just like that room. And it's got the same lava pits and such.
We should mention that Spring Ball comes with high jump in this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Spring Ball is really good in this because it has triple the value for its horizontal bounce than vanilla does. So it's used for a lot of room strats.
Yeah, that sequence that he just did, that looks really simple. If you're playing casually the first time through, you're going to do 3 tank hell run, where you have to use missiles to farm the bugs in a spot, just to get Ice Beam.
That diagonal spark I did, if you time it better, you can actually go all the way to the gate up here. I was a little bit late, I think. It's better late than early, though. If you're early, I think you bonk and fall in the lava, which is bad. So I failed it successfully.
And we're gonna grab Ice Beam and turn it off for a while. You know, as we said, beams don't initially stack in this game. There is an item that will allow beams to stack that you can pick up in Meridia. However, by the time we're gonna get there, it's not gonna be worth the time to pick it up because we're not gonna have plasma beam.
So this is Twin Fires Tunnel. It connects West and East Norfair. The way you're supposed to get to East Norfair is actually by fighting Kraid, which we skipped. So you notice that room is supposed to be a grapple requirement.
Yeah, it's supposed to be your way out after you've gotten grapple beam.
This missile, I call it Bob Jr. because you're not really supposed to be able to skip it, but since we've got Spring Ball now, there's a setup to bounce over it. We want to skip it because it's just a 2 missile pack, and it's really 2 missile packs are really useless for us. We basically only grab 10s for the rest of the run because it's like not worth the fanfare time.
Yeah, the ones that are out in the open are all going to be 2s. The ones that are hidden are the 10s, and then Chosen Balls are the 5s.
Yeah, the 5 missiles are very rare, though. Okay, so I'm going to pre-open this door. This is one of the intended sequence breaks here. This is also the reason I saved. This is early Screw Tech. And Screw Attack is a movement item in this, by the way, because it's actually based off the Prime series Screw Attack, which launches you forward across gaps. So you're supposed to have space jump, but there's this little alcove that you can get a Shy Spark chain into. And as long as you charge off that like 1 tile high hill, you can spark out safely without falling in the giant lava pit and dying.
You can save it if you fall in the lava pit. You don't want to have to deal with that, though.
Yeah, there is. If you're at low enough health, like depending where you fall, sometimes it's not feasible. Yeah. If I had a run where I accidentally sparked upward, that's like the worst thing you can do there. Having Speed Booster lets us do a lot of cooler stuff here too, and oops. with these speed blocks in the ceiling, we're actually able to break to we're sort of shortcutting to a part that's supposed to be after the grapple gauntlet to get this guardian. So in the old route, before I rerouted it to do early speed and lower warfare and such, we'd do grapple gauntlet, and then we'd have to wavegate this glitch to get this guardian. Thankfully we have wave beam this time, and it routes a little better. There's also some speed blocks I can play with on the way out. Yeah. If you lose your echoes there at a bad time, you can actually get stuck before reaching the end of the tunnel. Like, it's not a soft lock, but you have to, like, crawl your way out through the hole you just made. Did I save at the save station? I think I did.
Yes, you saved.
Okay. It's potentially an important save. There's a soft lock risk coming up shortly. So we're going to break into back of lower warfare, and it basically requires high jump to get enough jump height to do a ceiling clip. So we're ceiling clipping the statue in Grapple's room. The grapple beam room is actually supposed to be like a backdoor exit from lower warfare. But with high jump, we are able to enter it, and spring ball is very important for the other side of it as well. I wanted to time my jumps there to land on the trippers without having to wait for them.
And we're going to see here, I don't know if we haven't really talked about the tiles. There are tiles in this game that'll force you to stay in morph ball form, and we need to do a little trick to get around that here.
Yeah. Reason being, we have to unmorph and shoot a super block at the end of this tunnel. And this has a morph lock feature on certain tiles that prevent us from doing that. So we have to do a frame perfect spring ball jump to skip the trigger. This is also collision oscillator dependent, so we have to hope that we're on like one of the 50-50 frames where it's not checking the morph lock tile for the one frame that we need to be on it to get the jump. Okay, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it looked a little weird for a while, but you know, it doesn't look like you're. It's such a terrible thing. It looks like you're not doing anything, but really, it's a very difficult trick.
Yeah, I swear that's important. I promise. I promise of not just doing that for no reason.
Now we have the very dangerous lower warfare section, because we're really expected. We're supposed to have gravity at this point.
Yeah, gravity and space jump, and your movement is super bad in lava and acid and stuff without... Oh, crap. That's not good. Falling here is bad because there's key hunters on the bottom. And these balls do, like, 60 damage in areas. I didn't save at that save because, like, I don't normally fall here. Oh, that's... I don't know. I didn't think that ball was going to be there. Okay. Are we safe now? Okay, we're good now.
So I do love how screw attack just makes everything look so frantic because of the extra movement from it. A little hard to control at first. But
I'm glad I got that gate push. It would have sucked to not get. And then there's a green door right after that, so if I got it on the last super, I would have had to go back and farm again.
Yeah, that gate glitch just avoids a metal pirates fight, so. And it'll loop around the long way.
Oh, that's not good. I literally just saved though, so.
Yeah.
Okay. I did save, right?
You did save.
Okay, so I'm actually not used to saving here, and the key headers are still flying around here. They move off screen. So I'm actually not super used to what their positions are if you take the save. That's what I'm blaming it on. Okay, so we're gonna go into Ridley. Ridley's weakness, he's very weak to charge beam, which extends to X factors as well. So we're able to do a lot of damage with one X factor. I'm gonna try to land two, although that's a bit more difficult. And he actually takes much more DPS from missiles with the vulnerabilities that he has. So, I'm actually just gonna super the door instead, because supers are not worth as much in this fight.
Yeah, the supers fire so slow and the missiles fire so fast.
He's actually also very weak to pseudo screw. And to okay, that was a really nice landing. The X Factor does so much damage. So to compensate for him being weak to pseudo screw, of all things, his body damage is increased a lot. So it does 240 to various suit. It's supposed to just be 120 for gravity here, but it makes this fight kind of dangerous.
And ideally, you'd finish him off with the pseudo.
I usually don't these days, just because like I like turning him red with the pseudo.
Ah. Gotcha.
But I should have done it earlier because now he's red. I don't know how many shots he has left. The good thing about like the second half of the fight is like you've got screw attack and there's these statues on the side that you can stand on to be in the air more and manipulate his AI. Okay, now he's dead.
I mean, in terms of a casual run, I think this is, you know, one of the easier Ridley fights out there. In terms of this run,
I don't know, because like I think a lot of newer players to SM, I think a lot of their issues with Ridley is they take a lot of damage from the body, and that's exacerbated in this fight. And also, you can't have plasma for it because
yeah, that's a good point.
Ridley locks GT in a kind of boss rush here, which you need to do to get out, and then GT locks plasma.
Yeah, the GT fight here is not free. That was the harder one, I thought.
Oh yes. Casually, the GT fight is it's probably harder than the Ridley fight. Casually.
Right.
In runs, it's very easy because so the room is kind of designed so that you're not supposed to be able to do the traditional AI exploit of like letting him stand against the wall and like being on the third tile and such. So there's supposed to be these coverings for these spikes. You can get an early super shot on him as he changes color, but I think I missed it. But yeah, so if you get him to jump in the exact corner, you can actually like stand on the piece of enemy breakable tile that's remaining, and you can still do the cheese strat. We don't have a good beam for it, unfortunately, but the problem is the super rate of fire is so slow that you only can get in one super for every super that he catches, so it's just not a good use of time at all.
Yeah, you're gonna want you want to use charge beam, and typically you'd have the everything but plasma. At this point, you'd have the beam combo, and you'd have Spacer and Ice, and be able to turn them all on.
Yeah, assuming you found Spacer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I missed both Spacer and Wave Beam in my playthrough.
It was really funny.
It
was really funny in your playthrough because when you got the beam combo item, that lets you actually combine them.
It did nothing.
Yeah, because you only found Ice. You didn't find any of the other beams. So you didn't even know. I don't think you actually knew that not stacking them was a feature of the game.
I didn't. No, I got the beam combo. Like, what does this do? Because at the moment it did nothing.
Yeah. So we used to get it in old 80% route when we did Lower Warfare with Gravity, because we got Plasma in that route. But
we can't get Plasma here. It's in a big lava pit, and we already have to go through one lava pit to get a Guardian, so...
Yeah, and Ice Wave Phaser is actually not very good in this hack. All the beam damages and stuff are rebalanced in weird ways. And Ice Wave Phaser is just not very good. Spazer, though, on its own, is very good. It's got the machine gun rate of fire that Prime Power Beam has, and it does a lot more damage. It is actually stronger than Wave Beam, which is not true of vanilla SM. Wave is better, but here Spazer is very, very good. So we're gonna get that. It's speed locked in criteria, which is why we haven't gotten it already. The save is mostly because there's some like insta deaths here that can happen. This room, you're supposed to have space jump and gravity, so it's like, yeah, why not fill this room full of acid? It's fine, and yeah. If you fall there, you're just dead in this route.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned that Screw Attack is a movement item and it boosts you further, but I don't think we mentioned that if you want it, you can. Screw Attack only works if you're holding the run button.
Oh yeah.
So you can choose to not use the Screw Attack. So.
Choose is a strong word. Sometimes it makes it very difficult to control. Honestly.
It really does.
It's really hard.
Screw Attack, you know, it's kind of. I mean, this is kind of a fun section.
Oh, by the way, that's
just because you have all that stuff.
If you're going through LM the front way, that's an 8 super blockade that you need to shoot straight down through.
Oh yeah.
So that's fun. It used to be a big ammo check for the run, but now we don't really have to worry about it. But now we have to get a bunch of ammo anyways because we don't get plasma per MB. And we need it anyways for doors and stuff. Okay, so this is the Lower Warfare Guardian. It's in a big lava pit. So we have to do a lava dive to get it and get back out. Oh. So Aussie found a new strat for this that saves 10 seconds. It's a little harder. You have to do... I placed a bomb here to have it bomb boost me out of the hand, hopefully, once the cutscene's over. And I'm gonna try to wall jump off a corner and do some diagonal bomb jumps to get out of here. Oh, it didn't take. I was still gonna do it anyways. Oh my goodness. So if you do this properly, it saves 10 seconds. I'm going the wrong direction. Okay, that did not save 10 seconds. That probably lost time, but... Yeah, I did this really bad. I'm probably gonna die. Oh!
We gotta save.
I do have a save. Okay, I made it out. The idea behind it saving 10 seconds is it's supposed to, like, save 10 seconds worth of lava damage, which is supposed to be good for the sections coming up. But now I'm very near death because I messed it up.
Yeah, we're still not safe.
I also need I need a certain amount of health to Shine Spark out of Lower Warfare 2. I think this is technically enough. I think this will technically work, but it's going to be very scary.
Yeah, this room is slowly filling up with acid. And it gives you a generous amount of time, but...
It's basically a maze, and there's like only one correct way out. And it's an exit to Lower Warfare. It's a one-way exit too, which is kind of annoying if you're not like specifically looking to get out.
And if you have Gravity Suit, you get extra tries. It is going to be acid, so you can still, charge your spark and all that if you run out of time, but not with Berry Suit. And not with little energy. Oh, look, you did have enough, so...
Yeah, so there's a fun thing with that, where, like, if you have exactly not enough energy, like, you get stopped at 29 energy when you're Shine Sparking. if you have exactly not enough that you hit the transition, but you can't move vertically in the next room, you will just fall through the floor and out of bounds. Okay, so there's a spike. We want to try to get another spike suit in the same area again. This is gonna speed up getting Spazer. It's another thing that Aussie thought of. I don't know if I'm gonna have the health to really be able to do this properly though. I'll try it a couple times. Oh, I got the bad frame. I think I'm just gonna skip out on this one. My health is really bad. It's not necessary. Not doing the Spazer spike suit is actually gonna give me an extra opportunity to farm anyways. I think I'm still kind of shaken from that Lord Order. It's hard for me to move. Okay, so we're going back to Criteria. Criteria has Gravity Suit behind Fantoon, and you're supposed to get it once you have Speed Booster, basically. Like the order goes like, it's like grapple, high jump, speed booster, or grapple, speed booster, high jump, whichever one.
Now, normally there's we're gonna do a few things before we get to this, but there is quite a long suitless section in Criteria. Seems like every hack I've ever played has a suitless area of some sort. This one just doesn't happen to be in Meridia. But we're going to bypass a bunch of that but after we get a few things up here first.
So we're gonna go back for Spazer here. Do I have enough for this? I don't, do I? I don't think I do.
I don't know.
Okay, I did, but I didn't expect to visually, so I didn't do the chain, and I feel like an idiot now.
Okay, let's farm a little bit.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's actually really funny.
Well, now you'll know the number.
Can you give me an energy drop instead? Yeah, so this run is like a big project because there's just so many places to lose tons of time when you're doing it. Oh, that scree hit's really bad. That scree hit is... Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay, that is enough. I had three energy worth of spark movement to do, and it was enough. Okay, so now I know. That's actually good to know. That's... oh my god.
Bays are super nice in this because the rate of firing is so high.
The damage is really good too. Oof, okay, so... is this enough for this? One more. I actually think this is enough, but I'm not gonna chance it. Okay, so we have to get a guardian in here. This is the first one that you're supposed to like be able to see in the game. So this is like the room beside landing site. I don't have a power bomb. What? Okay, I have to go farm a power bomb. My God.
Yeah, that's required. Well, I mean, I was gonna say it's required here, but there is a goofy way to get that power bomb without one.
No, there isn't. You're probably thinking of something else.
Oh, is it another spot?
It's the Brinstar West Brinstar Guardian. That's the
yeah. Okay.
That's the sandwich moonfall that is used in low percent. I need to do a low percent of this soon to like update it. It's got some incredibly trippy things in it. Can I get a? How do I get a power bomb? Why do I not have? I didn't farm one in Brinstar. That was the problem. I was supposed to do that. Crap. I don't know.
I know. I was thinking it was trying to skip the power bomb pack as opposed to using a power bomb on it. But that's a whole different thing.
I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna go to the ship. Okay. This ammo look really important in this game. Okay. I have a headache now. Really, Screes, really. I can't believe I lost it there. I was supposed to farm Zebs and Brinstar if I still didn't have a PB at that point. I just forgot the reason why, because I haven't been short a PB here for a while, so I forgot it was a big issue. So I'm trying to go to the ship. The problem with going to the ship is that once you kill Ridley, outdoor criteria is flooded. That's the trigger for it. And in old route, we actually never saw flooded criteria. But here, the landing site has, like... It has an amount of water that's, like, up to your toes. So that means that you can't get any jump height out of the water, basically. So you have to do a chain spark to get out through landing site without gravity. Actually, there's like some stupid spring ball jump thing you can do into wall jump instead, but it's really stupid. Kagos. The Kagos were like... There's one's on the way to like the actual intended path to Spacer. And then there's like... Oh, well, there's ones in early criteria if I had thought of it earlier. So the cool thing that I was trying to do in this room that got completely ruined was you're supposed to keep the spark stored and get this guardian, all while keeping your shine spark chained, and then go to landing site with it. Actually, I think I have to go get the spark again now.
Yeah, and this guardian is probably the. I mean, you see this one super early when you play it casually, and it shows you a power bomb. So you see the power bomb, you go get the power bomb when you can, and then that's when you get your first guardian usually.
I think I'm doing the stutter badly too. I think that's why this isn't working.
Yeah, because short charging is only accomplished with stutters in this. You can't do taps.
I forgot to talk about that. It's like a anti-cheese thing, sort of, for... it makes you have to get more creative for, actually, like, keeping shrine spark chains. Some of those giant spark chains you have to do for 100% are really long and difficult. So in one sense, it takes away some hard things you can do by removing that aspect of short charging. The fact that it still works with stuttering is probably unintentional, and you have to hold the run button when you stutter, which is opposite of what you want to do in vanilla. So it's pretty weird. It took us a few months to figure that out the first time. It's a nicely aimed spark to the Sky Guardian, which normally, like in the older route when we didn't have flooded criteria, it was pretty easy to get the spark up there, but we have to go top route now.
You can also get this with space jumps and screw attack, but by the time we get space jump, we're not coming back up here, so.
Yeah, so we're doing all the criteria stuff now, we're never coming back after, so.
Yeah, next time we see criteria after we're done here is going to be escape.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, criteria literally actually does not have the entrance to Turian in this, so we're not even seeing it there. That is the wrong way. Speaking of the wrong way, we are sequence breaking a whole bunch of underwater criteria. So this area is called Criteria Depths that we're going to, and we're going to grapple glitch into it with zoomers. So this doesn't work in vanilla, but it's a property of them having changed the grapple AI for the zoomer enemy. There's a bunch of different like reactions to grapple that you can have an enemy do, and one of them is actually changed so that it allows you to latch the enemy briefly instead of just killing it. And the latch is what displaces Samus, and so it lets you clip into that gate. And by the memory system, I only have 7, don't I? So that gate was still closed because I didn't actually open it properly. The bit for the gate being opened versus closed is set by literally shooting it. So getting stuck inside it is just kind of a fail-safe that vanilla SM has if you somehow get stuck. Like if you close a gate on yourself, I think it's the main intention for that fail-safe. It forces the gate open. But we use this grapple displacement to... Oh, I got my super back. I'm very happy with that.
Nice. Yeah, those guys don't drop supers in vanilla, so...
Yeah, I forgot to open the green gate first. I wasn't supposed to make that mistake though, so I didn't practice. I didn't practice making the mistake.
Imagine practicing making mistakes. The underwater section isn't too bad if you do it normally. There are some metal pirates that are really annoying. But we get to skip all that and do just a small portion of it by doing that clip. I guess those clips, there's 2 of them.
Okay, so this is the Lost Caverns. This area is a replacement for the wrecked ship, and it basically functions like the like Z1 Lost Woods kind of.
Yep.
So the stalagmite patterns in the background are actually indicators of which way you're supposed to go. But this room works by placing like custom code teleporters, and we actually break the logic of it by going back and forth at the end of that last tunnel I just did, which saves about a second. It's nothing huge, but it's kind of funny that we don't even do that room as intended. And we've got a Fantoon fight. We have faster rate of fire for missiles, slightly, so we can actually stun lock Fantoon without moving. So it means it's possible to one round. I was 1 off. Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
So it takes 20 missiles, or 17 plus a super, and I knew I didn't have 20 when I started. That's okay, I'll just get some extra super drops from this Enrage. Because you can sometimes be really low on supers in the next section. Almost got him. So the wreck ship just largely doesn't exist, basically. We've got criteria depths instead. I got super drops in the fight! Okay, so...
When does it happen?
That's
funny.
I have seen that before, but I could not
small...
replicate it because I don't know what the conditions are. He normally only drops small health ever.
Small health,
I knew there were exceptions, but I don't know how to get them to happen because the drop system in this is kind of bugged. Because Drew didn't know that you're not supposed to make the drop chances add up to more than 255. So... I can't believe that drop wasn't all small health. That's nuts. Maybe it's full missiles, actually. It might be full missiles that it's based on. Because I basically never had full missiles at the end of that fight. That's not supposed to happen. That would actually kind of make sense. So there's a shade of underwater sparks you can do. I messed up the first half, so we don't get to do any of it.
It's a good place to point out that we talked about crouch jumping in this game. Super powerful. You saw him crouch jumping in the previous room there. In vanilla, if you crouch before you jump, you get a little extra height. It's even more so in this game.
Yeah, in vanilla, I think it's I think what happens is your jump starts from half a tile higher than it normally does. I don't know why it's so much more powerful in Redesign. I'm not sure.
I always guessed it was something to do with the heavy physics, but I mean, I don't know.
I thought so, but like based on my understanding of how crouch jumps work in vanilla, it doesn't add up. So I don't know what it is, but
it's useful. It's what it is.
It's very good. It removes a lot of platforming struggles, actually, that a lot of casuals would experience, because there's a lot of rooms where the platform's laid out in a really clunky way. Oh, I have to do the spark here. So this is a new thing that Aussie figured out. We used to get a spike suit for the East Criteria Guardian to skip a like 90-second loop that has a wave gate and stuff that, oops. So there's a particular tile that you can spark up here to skip that loop. What Aussie figured out is that there's actually a way to reasonably do it without the spike suit with screw tech. In old route, we hadn't had screw tech at this point, so I hadn't considered it as an option for a long time. But this is actually quite difficult to do. The spike suit's almost easier in this sequence. So basically, there's that tiny chain that I need to do off that slope up there. I keep accidentally sparking. There's a tiny chain up there, and then after you get it, you have to do 2 single wall jumps. One off, like... So, there's like kind of a square wall to the left there, and the parts at the bottom and the parts at the top are valid wall jump walls. The middle is not, so it's really weird. And I didn't realize for a long time that you could wall jump off it. So once I get this chain off this tiny slope, you have to wall jump off of really particular parts of that wall. And with that, you can barely make it up to the Shrine spot in time. Oh, I was so close. I got the first wall jump, but not the second one. Please. I keep falling off trying to set it up too. Okay, so the really difficult thing about this is that a lot of times when you're doing that jump over to the left wall to wall jump, it's a screw attack jump. And that makes you move really fast. So it's hard to transition from that into a wall jump and still be in range of the wall. And the screw attack is actually, like, the movement gets super weird having screw attack and not space jump. Oh my god, I was like a pixel off. Okay, I'm gonna reload the room and farm the Keiko. There's a question in chat about if wall jumps work in this game, and I'm honestly questioning it myself right now. How did I trip on that? I disagree, game. I would say this game is impossible, but that's a different hack.
Do we want to just go do the spike suit instead?
I mean, the smart thing to do at this point would be doing the wavegate loop, actually, not the spike suit. I'm too invested in this though. I have something to prove now. There we go. Holy crap. Oh, thanks, Odyssey, for putting that in the run.
I don't love that there's that power bomb pack there, because it kind of keeps you away from thinking that there's more to this room.
Yeah, I agree. Some of the ways the Guardians are hurting are a little bit unfair. In 2015, Drusif, over like the like 9 years after Redesign came out, after he released it, he worked on a remake called Axial Edition, named after Axial for his. He did a pretty terrible Let's Play of the original Redesign, and a lot of the feedback was like supposed to be based on problems that were obvious that he encountered during it, but it kind of just turned into, like, it was marketed as an easier version for a while, but then it just turned into balancing things out and making it very different. So some things in Axial Edition were made easier, some were made harder. So you're kind of not necessarily getting an easier experience with it. But it did give you Guardian hints, which I think were a pretty good addition, because the Guardian hunt is one of the more unfair parts of the hack.
It has a pretty cool map system.
Yeah, the mechanics of it are changed a lot, and I'm not like a big fan of a lot of the changes. I do want to run it at some point, because it has some interesting stuff to explore, but I definitely prefer this. But it's actually very technically impressive from the custom code standpoint. It's got a lot of new stuff that this doesn't have. So this chain is because there's a speed booster wall in purple criteria here that's supposed to be broken from the other side. This actually shares a trigger with an entirely different speed wall in purple criteria, which is on path to the way you're supposed to get into criteria depths and not grapple glitching into it. And we're kind of taking the back door into Viridia instead of the front door that was near the East Criteria Guardian. We're taking this way because this way funnels directly into Botrun, so you can grab space jump faster without having to traverse a lot of Viridia. But it is the back door. We're not supposed to do this, and because we're not supposed to do this, there's a good old green gate glitch here, and the gate is raised really high off the ground, so it's really awkward.
There's actually several ways to enter Meridia at this point. One of them through the crate area.
Ah, yeah, the crate too, which we don't touch in this route at all.
Well, we are going to get space jump soon, which is really nice here.
I forgot to use the elevator to turn on wave beam. I always forget to do that. Okay, so this is the Hall of Gates. Alright, this is actually prep for the Hall of Gates. So there's a Guardian in Meridia that you have to open these 4 remote gate switches to get to. There's 2 on the top here and 2 on the bottom. You have to find the entrances to them elsewhere before you can actually go get the Guardian. So we're cleaning up the top half right now while we're next to it.
Yeah, Meridia has a couple of interesting Guardians. There's this one, and then there's the one that, for whatever reason, is gated by either GT or Ridley. I'm not sure you ever figured out which one.
I think it's Ridley.
I mean, that makes more sense, but the fact that we killed them both at the same time, it just makes it difficult.
You can't tell empirically, like you have to look at the code or
yep.
the byte values or whatever. So we get to see Bottoon's weakness.
Yeah, one of the nice things about the route is we have screw attack here.
Even in old route, I specifically went out of the way for screw attack for this fight. Also for the movement.
And as you see, blink and you miss him. And there's space jump.
So Bottoon has a little bit over 16,000 health in this, compared to 3,000 in vanilla, but it's 4 times weak to screw attack in this, so it takes 8,000 per frame. So it's just gone in 3 frames. It's nice to finally have space jump though. One of the awkward things about having screw attack with those space jumps is that space jump actually makes your normal spin jumps have very high acceleration and cover a lot more horizontal distance than not having it. So both of those items change the physics of your spin jump, basically. And so when you don't have space jump, you're kind of on this toggle between max speed and no horizontal speed at all. The toggle with screw attack it's a lot less drastic to deal with once you actually have space jump, like the game expects. How did that not get in the hole? So there's 3 guardians per area. We've got 4 major areas in this because Wreckship's gone. And they're normally spread out between west, center, and east of the region pretty evenly. Brinstar is kind of the exception because you've got the West Brinstar Guardian, which is going to require a ton of ammo, but the East one, the East and Center one, are and Red Brinstar are literally 1 room apart from each other. So this one's Spike Guardian. It is one of the instances of forced damage in this hack. I was considering trying to do Oko for this a few years back, but there were like a few modifications that I would have needed to make, and I made one of them for like where you can do the Varia IBJ without. I added an extra block there for that, but Spike Guardian, I initially had I was gonna remove all the spikes in this area, but then Eternized Dragon had to go and point out that if you get a blue suit and you're constantly moving, then you can dodge the spike damage there. But there's like a few other potential issues with it too. So we have to go back to Norfair one last time to get the one Guardian that is absolutely impossible to do without gravity, unfortunately. Nice. Got the speedball through the door shot.
It doesn't help that we can't crystal flash in lava. Not that we have the ammo for it anyway.
Yeah, that is the reason why it's impossible to
Yep.
gravity. So Drew added a check, or maybe it was probably Kajardan at his request, but I should have grappled that door. That saves lag. Forgot about that. But yeah, for whatever reason, this ROM hack has a check for gravity suit whenever you're crystal flashing in lava. And if you don't have gravity suit, the game instantly just kills you. And that means that this Guardian is literally the only thing preventing a completely suitless playthrough. Everything else is possible. And it's also the only reason we have to come back here in the route, but at least it's like near the Red Strike Guardians we're doing anyway, so it's not a huge deal. But it does kind of stand out. There's a turbo tube that connects to Meridia, actually. It's behind a green gate on the Norfair side, and it's behind 2 green gates on the Meridia side. So one of the older routes actually used it for Guardian cleanup, and had to do 2 gate glitches on the Meridia side off a limited pool of supers. But we can't use the turbo tube anymore because it is actually Crocomire locked by a Great Oran. So that's switching to the new route introduced a lot of route complications like that. Okay, so that was a really nice shot at the Zebs in the floor. It reduces the lag in that room significantly. There's 4 of them in that pipe, and if you get all 4 of them, it reduces the lag a lot. The lag is due to the fact that that room that I was just in is actually the exact same room as this one. And so I did it there as well. So there's a lot of extra rooms in this hack, and the way that Drew went about allowing that to happen is he crammed multiple rooms into the same room header. So a lot of the bigger rooms in this game, you actually have 2 or 3 of them loaded at once, because the game considers them technically the same room. And in that particular room, there is 4 Zebs in the 2 pipes in the bottom section of the room, and there's 5 Zebs in the final section I passed through. So there's a lot of enemies loaded at once. That's why that room is so laggy. There's actually some really funny things, though, with the fact that they crammed multiple rooms into the same room header. And that has to do with, you can actually X-ray climb between the 2 parts of the room, and it is still technically NMG valid. Because the out-of-bounds definition that we use is... Oh, I laid that way too low. The out-of-bounds definition we use is based on the out-of-room travel. Oh yeah, there's that. Let's not mention that right now. That's another can of worms. The escape block is the thing. I made the mistake of laying this power bomb too low. I'm not really concerned about the horizontal aspect of it. So we are finally setting up for the West Brinstar Guardian, aka the Ammo Guardian. This is locked by multiple green gates and multiple purple doors.
Yeah, you remember we earlier shot one of the gates.
Oops.
It's power bomb.
Yeah, so got the other Decora gate. So like if you show up here without hitting the other Decora gate, if you haven't found it yet, then you'll find out you have more stuff you need to do. And then you also have to open this remote gate because it blocks the Guardian itself. So it's very involved here. And Old Route actually used to do this much earlier, just because of how the pathing worked out. Oh, I got the screw attack through this room. Okay, so that room I just did is you have to kill 6 enemies for the door to open. That's how kill enemy rooms work in this game. There's a set number for the door. And it's a lot better now that we have screw attack here in the route, because you can just move through the side hoppers with screw attack. But we had to have set up to shine spark through the room in Old Route to survive. And the fact that I got the screw attacks to kill the enemies all in a line was cool. That's not trivial to do.
Yeah, I believe you did this much earlier in the Old Route, did you not?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about when we didn't have screw attack. Oh, I got the speedball through the tunnel.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm gonna try the Dragon Spike Suit here. There's a giant sandfall that leads to Dragon. Oh, oops. I forgot to stutter for that. I'm gonna try it again. I'll try it one more time, but it's losing time at this point. Got it. See if I can actually keep it. So this saves 45 seconds if you get it first try. It's a 15-second commitment to attempting it each time. So there's a giant sandfall that we get to shine spark up that normally oh, that sucks. I wasted it. So we're getting supers here that are behind a speedball. And for me, at least, it's really easy to accidentally do the shine spark inputs by accident in a mock ball. That's namely just pressing up in the middle of your jump. The really nice thing that Dragon Spike Suit avoids is if you don't get the Spike Suit up to spark up this sandfall that I'm passing, the fastest way to get to it becomes another green gate glitch. And this is the single worst gate glitch in my opinion with regards to the availability of refarming ammo for it nearby. So this has killed a lot of my runs. Okay, that wasn't too bad, but you still have adverse effects for missing them, because you've got this green door right after. And there's a purple door in front of Dragon, so I'd really rather not have to take a lot of tries for that.
So this section right here, screw attack, very helpful. With that extra boost it gives you, you're supposed to, without screw attack, you're supposed to space jump at a much more precise spot in the middle of that, where the sand isn't going down to get across.
Yeah, if anyone in chat want to guess Dragon's special weakness?
I see a few people in chat that know the answer, so they can't answer.
That's not grapple. Yo, got the 2 round.
And yes, indeed, it is bombs.
2 round is kind of tough. Like you have to get one of the early bombs in the second cycle to do it. It's pretty easy to get one off, but actually getting the 2 round is kind of hard. I know there's a lot of people watching that haven't seen this, but I know a lot of the regulars to kind of the my chat plus the people who generally watch SM Hack speedruns. A lot of them are here. That might have been a tautology, but I'll ignore it. So another remote gate loop that we have to do to get another guardian here. This one's directly locked by a dragon door. 2 of the guardians in Rodeo are locked by dragon doors, and one of them's locked by Ridley, because reasons. There's a tube, a glass tube that has no other way into it, or there's no other entrances that go into it. You have to get to it from outside. And that has a trigger to break after Ridley's defeated. So that's what the boss kills that we do are for. Gate? Hello? I think I shot down by accident. There's actually ways to skip every major boss in this hack. There's some pretty ridiculous X-ray climbs you can do because of the thing I mentioned where you can do inter-room travel because there's multiple rooms loaded at the same time. The one for this one is probably the most involved because to skip this gate, like you can't open this gate that locks the Guardian without Dragon dead. There is no way to get to that remote gate. There's no way to shoot a super through the wall to it. There's no way to get through that gray door. So you have to X-ray climb into the room past the gate, but then you can't do it on the way out because the gate's blocking you on the way out. So there's this really involved, what is it? I still need to train my brain to remember the new setup for this. Oh, okay, that was close. The X-ray climb, yeah, you have to do to get out of the guardian room. You have to... You have to do it a very particular way, and then do a Crystal Flash force stand to get out, to dodge a Morphlock tile that normally softlocks you. It is quite ridiculous. I forgot the key for this short shot. This is the Ridley Tube Guardian. The screen shake from a couple of the rooms back is the trigger that breaks it once Ridley's dead. That's like your sort of explanation as to what's going on. It's not an especially good one. Like,
yeah, it's one of those things when you're searching for the Guardians at the end that, you know, you just have to happen to walk through that section and notice that the screen's shaking, and that means something.
Oh, and one of the things required for a Ridley skip for like potential no major bosses slash like true RPO categories that I was planning on maybe doing is you can get into that tube by moon falling into it from the top. My super count is really bad now because of the Dragon Gate. So if you get a good shot, if you push one into the corner there with enough speed, you can get it to hit the bottom left gate of the Hall of Gates here. We're doing the bottom half now. Alright, there is a Morphlock clip you can actually get to unmorph and shoot the top right gate with the wave shot as well, but I missed it. You can do a... You have to do a spring bounce against the ceiling at the right time, because the ceiling that drops into that tunnel has a morph unlocked tile.
Now your super count's much better.
It's actually still kind of bad. It's like how demanding this game is with ammo.
Yeah, I mean, there's still... Turian has got purple gates, and they still got more here.
Yeah, so I had to open that purple door, and then there's literally 2 purple doors I have to open to get into Turian. Oh, there's a green gate I have to open here to get out. Luckily, this route that goes into top of Meridia first takes care of the red gates here. I hate glitching this red gate so much. I can older it. That Guardian's kind of evil too, because there's a couple of reasons. Like, one is that the invisible ceiling, you can't X-ray it, but it's an awkward spot to stand in to be X-raying stuff. Oh, actually, I have to kill a Metroid to have enough. Yeah, I still have to open 2 purple doors, and then...
Yeah.
And then I have to be able to open a red gate, and I also have to be able to kill a Metroid after that. There's Metroids in the first room here that I normally ignore, but I'm actually going to kill them here.
Yeah, this Guardian will not let you pass until you've done all the other gates. And see, this purple door is fine. Like, you can open this one up and it'll stay open. But for whatever reason, this next one that he's gonna do, you can't save it being open.
It has the respawning flag set, which I think is a mistake, but I'm not sure. The game uses a lot of respawning door flags, actually, to make sure that the doors that are flashing gray for when you defeat bosses, they stay flashing gray for the whole game.
Which is kind of nice, actually.
Okay, I got enough. We're good.
Also, the Metroids here don't like to drop supers, so...
Yeah, it's an abysmal drop rate. So it's kind of, it's partially luck, partially how well did you manage your ammo previously. How many supers out of your 11 total in this route that you get to have at Mother Brain. And Mother Brain takes 2.5x from supers, so having as many supers as you can get for the fight is really good. So we basically try to use missiles for as many of these groupings as we can. So every room, almost every room, has respawning Metroids, and
they come fast.
Yeah, dodging them for casuals, like, it's really hard to bomb them off. You basically almost have to do the technique that I'm doing because
you pretty much, yeah.
Because the Metroids move so much faster, and also your roll acceleration is much worse in Redesign than it is in vanilla. Barely made that one. I'm not used to the spring bounce strat for that as much. It's a newer thing.
They used to do a mock ball. I assume that's an Aussie find.
Yeah, it's faster to spring bounce that. It's just scarier. I should have opened that shutter while I was waiting for the Metroids to die.
Yeah, that spring ball bounce thing does save quite a bit of time.
Where is
if you don't do it, you have to go around below and around another room.
Yeah, it skips an entire room, which is nice. Oh, what? Oh, I'm short one. Pretty good super drops, though. I feel like that I have 9 right now. All the way from 1 at the start. 10. Okay, we might end up with full anyways.
We're gonna be close. A lot of the newer hacks, when you get, we'll have ammo refills instead of missile refills, but This one's still got missile only refill, so.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice addition. Okay, I didn't get max, but that's okay.
10's pretty good considering you came in with like 1.
Yeah. So we're gonna do some beam switching. There's a lot of beam switching that happens at this point because weight is the best beam to have to clear the debris for baby skip. Assuming you actually get it. I'm actually kind of surprised I missed it, but I tripped on something. This is actually exactly why I got the reserve tank, though.
Yeah, there's the side hopper room being after the baby Metroid without the reserve tank. If you take a hit, you have to do all of terrain over again.
That's kind of rude.
You don't have the reserve, yeah.
Low percent has to do a really crazy reserve abuse strat for the side hopper room because you don't have screw attack. So we have to switch back to ice now so that we can do Zebate skip. And then we switch to Spazer for the Mother Brain fight because that's the most damaging beam that we have. So that's a lot of menuing here.
And interestingly, we don't even have the luxury of also changing. I mean, we could turn off screw attack. We don't need to here. Because Zeb skip, because of the property that if you don't hold the run button, you don't have screw attack going. You don't have to worry about it here. You just don't hold run and do your Zeb skip.
Missiles only do half damage to Mother Brain, which is why I fired a lot of them. On the first phase. Actually, I'm gonna open with the super. If you fire a charge shot, it has really bad cooldown. .64 frames super cooldown. And actually, we never mentioned the charge beam. It takes longer too. It takes 80 frames instead of 60. It's kind of funny because like the past month I've been playing 3 different hacks with like
3 different physics.
Yeah, and 3 different charge beam timers. I said hack. I know one of them was referring to like vanilla for randomizers and such.
Technically randomizer.
I undercharged that shot, and that like super sucks in this because it costs more time.
Also, 449. I don't know how the energy is. So it's not three tanks of energy you need to survive the rainbow beam. It's a little bit more.
Yeah.
Four something.
It's 4. It does 439.
439. I was close.
Oh my! I was not ready for that. It's just kind of harder to dodge because you hit your head on the ceiling sooner. Okay, she delayed that one by a lot. That was actually kind of unfair. I can't believe that one didn't hit me.
And here we're gonna find out why it's so bad that we get flooded in Criteria. Probably the reason why the Criteria area floods.
Yeah, so Rainbow Beam causes item loss, which I kind of like as like a, it's like a kind of like, oh, this explains why Samus starts without any items and whatever next game is supposed to be after this. It makes the escape conditions a bit more terrifying. So the escape's really long. A lot of it is potentially getting lost and navigating terrain. You have to find some hidden tunnels to get out. It's a bit of a maze. It's not really a maze, there's not too many different directions to go, but...
We do get to keep bombs.
We do. Oh, yeah. So it's sort of keeping...
Bombs and the ability to wall jump, I guess, is what we get to keep.
It's sort of keeping... So technically, actually, the Rainbow Beam just assigns you an inventory, kind of the same way that Gold Chorizo Code assigns you an inventory. So it sets your inventory to have wall jump and morph and bombs and nothing else.
Yeah.
No matter what you had previously. So actually, because wall jump uses a different item that Gold Chorizo Code does not give it to you, so GT Classic is actually like a really weird category in this, because you end up like having space jump, no screw attack because it gets deleted, and then you don't have wall jump either. But then when you get rainbowed, the game gives you wall jump back because it just sets your inventory.
Well, you couldn't finish the escape without it, so it's probably good that it does.
Yeah.
Spoilers for those who maybe haven't seen the escape. I do know that when I got rainbow beamed and suddenly was yellow instead of pink, I menued like, what just happened?
Okay, and I may need a reminder that we're saving the animals in this.
Yeah, let's try. Let's see, about the time you hit that last wall jump, probably about the time to last difficult wall jump. The early part of this game kind of lulls you into a false sense of security because you have 25 minutes and it's not really dangerous except at a few points early on.
The dangerous the dangerous stuff is all in the back half, and it's like you die in an acid pit, and you have to go do Mother Brain all over again and slog through all this crap again.
Back to doing prime style bomb jumping.
Oh yeah, which you probably forgot to do. You probably forgot how to do by this point because you've had Spring Ball for so long.
Yep.
It's kind of funny, like some marathon runs that I've done of this, some of the hard parts that I struggled on today, I have gotten really easily. Like I've had marathon runs where I got like the early Varia bomb jump first try, and it was like, it didn't look like it was hard at all. It didn't really look impressive, I don't think. There's... I got to show off during this run, at least that some parts of this are actually hard.
We do need that missile, and don't fire more than 5 here. It's so long between that door and the other door that we're gonna have to use missiles on that you forget about it.
Yeah, it's kind of rude. So, like, this was changed in Axial Edition because it was honestly just stupid, the escape missile thing. But you can't waste any. If you waste any missiles at all, you're self-locked because you've got 2 missile doors to deal with, and nothing here drops missiles. You actually still have all your correct max capacities and stuff. So there's ways for like true RVO that you can actually escape with the flash suit, and then go to the rest of the world and do things. You still have all your maxes. You can still get drops, but the escape's curated so that like nothing here drops anything.
Which I guess is true in vanilla as well, but there's no reason to need anything in vanilla escape.
Yeah. Escape missile does count for percent as well. Not that it really matters, because you're forced to pick it up no matter what. So there's little shortcuts. Like there's some like hidden bomb tiles that I've been using to skip a couple of tunnels here and there. I learned most of them from watching the tasks. I had the mock ball for the gate. This acid line actually like comes 1 pixel from actually touching you, so it looks like it's not safe, but it is.
Yeah, it kind of baits you into going to the top area if you don't know.
Yeah, top area is fine, it's just a lot slower.
Lower.
So the most dangerous part of the Turian section of the escape is across the acid pits, but in a little bit we're gonna get to the Metroid section.
Yeah, the first Metroid, as long as you roll underneath, you should be fine. He'll do a mock ball, but you don't necessarily need to, I don't think. My experience in doing it was not with a mock ball.
Yeah.
The second one has a couple ways you can get around it, but it is much more scary.
Yeah. Well, technically, you see a second one, but the second Metroid is in captivity.
Right. Yeah. The first room with the Metro, I think. Yeah. There's like one that you just can't get to.
Oh yeah. The issue is you don't have Ice Beam anymore because so actually technically the beams part of your inventory isn't touched, but you get the Hyper Beam flag set, so you can't use Ice Beam. So yeah, we just mock ball under this first one and it gets caught on the platforms. And then this one here just kind of scares you, but it can't get to you. And then this one is the scary one. So
yeah, but that first one, you don't even need that mock ball. You just need to roll under. This one, this looks pretty scary. It's not always completely necessary, but I like to do a jump up to like bait it upwards to get it off screen faster. Cargo through the gate, I love getting that one. Yes, a slow way I do is you kind of bait it on the side, on the right side, and then go down. But there's a reason for that refill. If you have enough E-tanks to survive, to get down to the bottom, you just use the refill to survive, and then once you go through the door, the Metroid's gone.
Yeah, we do have enough E-tanks to survive the route now. Barely. I used to be stubborn and I used to do this on 5 tanks, but the newer route actually incentivized. Okay. I've never actually made the mistake in Escape of missing the door with the missiles.
That's fair. Okay, we're good.
Didn't want to do it now.
Now this room's reminiscent of the climb room in SM or the regular escape room, and it's a little more, I find it a little more reminiscent of the M1 escape.
These platforms get really tiny. Like the platforms at the top here, you have to be really used to the physics to not fall down because they're like basically the entire width of the width of the platform is like the amount that the screen shake displaces the platform visually. Yeah.
And now flooded criteria.
Axial Edition actually has a challenge playthrough possible, and if you're doing it, then that room fills with acid. The climb room. It's pretty great. So respin kind of helps a lot here. We didn't even really mention respin's existence
Yeah, I don't
in
think
this.
we talked about respin.
So now I'm just so used to having it in this hack, but it helps as far as like since it puts you back in a spin hitbox, which is smaller, it basically functions as a down grab.
Most of you probably know this, but respin just means that you can start spinning again out of a straight jump.
Yeah, there's also
which is common in a lot of hacks. You see it in a lot of the newer Metroid games.
There's also in water physics, there's if you jump on a particular frame of your turnaround, you get like a lot of starting speed with your jump, and it really offsets a lot of the slowdown of the water. So there are a couple jumps I was trying to do a jump and hit the frame to get that to work. It is how it works in vanilla, but it's not nearly as prevalent in vanilla because the water physics slow you down much more in this. So it's an actual strat there to try and hit the like max speed turnaround frame or whatever it is. Oh, hyper beam shot overwrote the missile. Yeah, so you can get wave beam shots. Like, cause hyper beam it's technically like a wave beam, wave plus plasma kind of thing. Plus charge.
Okay, so now we start seeing that lava rising is a thing.
We don't see it there. It's unnoticeable if you are watching from, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you see it. You saw in the room where you always want to hold left there. So.
Oh yeah, we did kind of, yeah. Yeah, there's parts of this where if you don't know the way to go, like if you go down through that bomb block here, you're gonna fall into the acid that's rising. That's gonna tell you you went the wrong way and just basically kill you. This is one of the rooms where it's more visibly scary. So I'm gonna jump through the landing site door to try to get a mock ball in the water, which normally you can't do unless you've got run speed from outside of the water. And we can't get up to where the ship is from here. One, because of the water flooding, we can't jump out of the water, and two, because it's caved in. And this is the scary,
the last scary part.
Acid room, the wall jump room. That's the only room I died in, and that was like last year for the first time ever. And in a speedrun, I mean, I died in this plenty in the casual playthrough. And we could do a hyper beam bomb spread here, which normally you charge shot and morph. You can't really like charge the hyper beam really, but since it counts as a charge beam shot, if you like time the shot to when you're morphing, it counts for the bomb spread.
Okay, now is the save the animals reminder, which is quite a bit more out of the way in this game than in vanilla. In fact, didn't you tell me that the if you were ever to run a map completion of this, that save the animals ends up being required because it's the only time you can get to that room?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's behind BT like it is in most hacks, but or rather, in most hacks it's in BT's room, but with this room being like BT's in a 2x2 room. Oh, here's the shit, by the way. We're gonna ignore it for now. But yeah, since BT is in like a 2x2 room, technically, the animals room is actually behind it, and it's a locked door, so you can only enter it in the escape. That's the only time you can get the map tile. Actually, so actually, technically, the door doesn't lock you in with the animals until you save them in this. Weird quirk. It does in like vanilla and almost every other hack. And I'm going the wrong way. So you actually like don't even have to save the animals in map completion. You can actually just go into the room and leave and ignore them.
So you have to at least go in the room.
I never thought about that before, but yeah, it's like I don't know why he made that decision to like not lock the door, because normally, like every other hack I've seen has locked the door until you save them. We're going through a lot of the like upper criteria rooms that we never actually saw. Like a lot of these are rooms that you would see in 100%.
Question, Shaz, is this the longest escape ever? I forget which one. Isn't there one hack that has like an hour-long escape?
Yeah, Metroid Mission Rescue. Don't play it. Don't play it. It's bad. I actually like. Okay, so some parts of this hack might seem unfair and stupid, but like if you've got, there we go. If you've got a lot of SF experience and you do randos and such, I would honestly suggest giving this a try. There's a lot of neat things about it. Mission Rescue is like actually just bad.
Yeah, this one has what I like to call difficulty spikes, in particular Grapple Gala, which we didn't see here in the early Hell Run, and the end of this escape. But
there was a lot of
most
effort.
Of it I think is fine.
There was a lot of effort that went into redesign to make it like actually well designed as like a game to experience. Well, I mean, there's questionable design choices, but it's like the game world actually makes sense, and there's like, you know, you're supposed to nice dex no Steam used. There's like actually supposed to be proper progression and reward systems built in, and the game world is supposed to look like a world, and like it takes itself seriously as like an actual game to play through. Not liking the physics is like probably
it's probably the biggest complaint I think I hear is the physics.
Yeah, I like the differences just because I find that stuff interesting. Like I've played vanilla physics a million times already, but there's some people that like strictly prefer them, and that's fine. I won't say these physics are better.
No,
because they're like there's a lot of
they're not.
They're really clunky.
They're different, and they're they have their own quirks and stuff. I wouldn't generally prefer to play a game with these kind of physics, but I'm glad for this one and similar physics in a called YPX that I did finish those games. So.
I honestly think YPX physics are worse.
They probably are. But
all right, it's time.
GG's.
Underestimate. I think I lost like 5 minutes to not having a power bomb at one point. I think there was more stuff like that happened than actual like physically failing a trick or whatever.
Yeah, there were a handful of things, but yeah, that power bomb was not cool. No power bombs.
I see someone said BG for bad game, which sure. I respect that some people have that opinion. But yeah. This is my favorite hack. I love to get to show it off. It's really complex, and there's a lot that goes into running it, and it's very different from a lot of the normal SM stuff. I do want to shout out, like, basically the redesign community we have going is Personitis and I running it and doing all the research for it several years ago, and then Kamaru made a decent document of the stuff we found and ran it himself, and ED, of course, like, chimed in with a lot of good knowledge and looked into some of the X-ray climb stuff, and now we've got Aussie, who took the record from me, which is entirely Tracy's fault, because
Is that my fault?
because you put us in the redesign division for Random League Season 3, and then he ended up playing it.
To be more precise, when we named the division, we named it Redesign because you were in it.
But actually, so like,
yes.
But yeah, so like naming the hacks after the divisions, or naming the divisions after hacks, actually got some of the people to like check out what theirs was, their namesake hack, to see how it was. And I feel kind of bad for the mission rescue division, but Fat Scott, who's in that division, actually seemed to enjoy it, so it kind of worked out.
Well, it also had Galmaz in it, and he's the reason why it was called Mission Rescue. So
yeah, that's true. But yeah, Aussie found a lot of like minor tweaks and time saves and stuff, strat optimizations over the last year or so. Got the first sub too, which is really cool. But yeah, I think that's it. Thanks everyone for watching, and looking forward to the Morrowind run coming up next. That game's really broken.